Hi, my name is Monica. I'm the voice actress for Angelina Coral in Subnautica the Red Plague, and I am still excited for Subnautica 2. Please give me some time to explain. To say Subnautica 2 as a game has been in some boiling water for the past 7 months is an understatement, and yet, despite everything, I am still so excited for this game. And I'm gonna tell you why today, because there's a lot. And maybe, if you're a Subnautica fan, maybe this video can give you some hope. Hope as in the game will be good, because I think it will be. This video is going to go through Subnautica 2's story, as well as the devlogs that have been put out. I want you to trust me on this. If you think Subnautica Below Zero's story was underwhelming, then Subnautica 2 might be the holy bible. And if you are worried about Unknown Worlds not being able to capture the magic of the first game with its isolation, I have some major news for you. Please, just hear me out. All I ask is you just hear me out, okay? Subnautica 1 felt super isolating. Subnautica 2 is actually going to feel more isolating than Subnautica 1. In Subnautica 1, you found the Degassi bases, the leftovers of the Degassi. You had the Sunbeam come and try to save you. You even had radio broadcasts from the Aurora survivors that then died and perished. In Subnautica 2, you're not gonna have any of that. But Monica, how's the game gonna be isolating if there's multiplayer? Can you just be patient? Look, I already know I'm testing your patience with the model, just give me a second. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I love Subnautica to death. As you can see, in Subnautica 2, if you haven't caught up with the radio broadcasts that they've been putting out, the Karar bacterium has broken out all across the galaxy, and it's not stopping. So much so that Natural Selection 2 has finally been canonized, and the Karar has started mutating life forms, and now there's war. You are going on a ship called the Cicada, part of Altera's Pioneer program. You are essentially mankind's last hope. The Cicada is en route to a desert planet called Zazura.
You will sleep through 14 years of flight to your new home on Zazura.
No, not desert like the Sahara Desert. Desert as in a desert island. This planet hasn't been touched by anyone that we know of, but something goes wrong. Because of course it does. All of mankind loses connection with the Cicada, and everyone thinks that you're dead, and you have no communication with the rest of the galaxy. So this story is about the entire universe thinking you're dead, and you think the entire universe could be dead. That is true isolation. I might even say that's peak fiction. Needless to say, the setup for Subnautica 2 is insane. That is the most horrifying thing you could possibly feel while alive. You have no idea if you're the last person alive. So what do you gotta do now? Survive.
We encourage you to nurture your dreams. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. When you wake up, your new life begins.
Your ship crashes. Of course it does. And you gotta change your DNA with a transfuser to start adapting to the new world. Which begs the question, if there is a mankind to go back to, will you even still be the same species? Or will you have completely changed? Subnautica 2 is going to be peak. Okay, the story is a little juicy. Not to mention, one of the main selectable characters you get to play as has to leave behind his kid and is in cryo for 10 years. He's not seeing that kid again. I don't think he knows what he signed up for. Okay, the story is juicy, but what about the game itself? Dear viewer, do you remember a video called What Subnautica 2 Needs? I made that video, and I got some comments from developers about it. And now that I'm looking at the new devlogs that have been released every so often, I dare say that they actually listened. They hit every bullet point I made word for word. I'll prove it. Check this out, right? One of my first bullet points is that Subnautica 2 needs some kind of landmark outside of the water, right? Something that always drew me to Subnautica when I was little was the presence of a giant starship in the distance that you could always see. And below zero, you'd see those giant snowy mountains in the distance. But what will you see in the distance in Subnautica 2? I really hope it's not just open ocean. I'd still like some kind of landmark. Dear viewer, take a look at this. Just take a look at that. Some giant coral tree in the distance. I mean, look at the size of that thing, man. This point about base building is insane to me. So this was made before they showed off base building. In No Man's Sky, they have base pieces that are oddly similar to Subnautica. but they have these cube rooms that you can connect to those base pieces. The more you stack on, the bigger the room. You can even make them multiple floors and decide if you want a floor or not. And here's how base building turned out in Subnautica 2. Yeah, okay. I need this in my bloodstream. There's more examples of this, but I don't want the whole video to be taken up by it. But I think you get the idea by now. I guess what I'm trying to convey is that the developers are listening, even with whatever's going on. The developers are coding, making the art, making all the systems for the game. They are listening and they are trying to make a good game. And they want you to have faith in them. Now, with an isolating story that we have built up, wouldn't multiplayer just ruin it? Well, no, not really. You just turn the you might be the last person alive to you and your 3 friends might be the last people alive. Imagine how much worse that would be. Now you have to worry about you and your friends just panicking. You're all that's left. But at least you have each other. Not to mention, but I cannot believe I have to specify this, multiplayer is optional. We are in the year 2026. Did that really need to be told to you? I was debating even putting this point into the video, but it really seems that like everyone who's saying, oh, the game was going to be multiplayer, it's not going to be isolating, that's so disingenuous. You don't mean that. You know damn well it's going to be optional. Like, why would it be required? Just by looking at the gameplay alone, I can already tell that the story that you're going to experience in Subnautica 2 is going to be kind of a return to form. There might be some things that happen in the game itself, but there's no talking protagonist. You're not going to have someone in your ear the whole game, except for your PDA.
The important distinction there is that any part of the game isn't going to require cooperative play. But if I want to come along and bring a friend, they can totally participate with me in every moment along the way. We never wanted to encroach on someone's game that just is like, I want to play solo. We never wanted to have the moment where you had to pull the switches in tandem. That's never the way we want it to be. Optional co-op start to finish.
Well, there you have it. Something else I'd like to mention, and it's not that important, but I vividly remember when Subnautica 2 got announced and got its trailer, Twitter had a firestorm calling the game horrible things just because of character design. I mean, look at her. She looks just fine. Or what about these characters?
You want to get that full range of motion. It's more work, but it also informs more.
I think this guy looks the coolest though. I don't know, what if this is the dad character that you can play as? You can play as old grandpa over here. But yeah, the reaction on Twitter was a complete overreaction. It doesn't even warrant any acknowledgement. It's just a bunch of rage baiters on Twitter. But why would I keep this point in the video? Well, it actually pertains to another point I have. There is so much misinformation about Subnautica 2. I'm not even gonna act like I know all the details, because I don't. What I can say is that from these devlogs, you can absolutely tell that the developers are passionate about making a good game. If you still can't see that, you gotta wake up. You might be dead. It is very obvious that they still want us to play this game.
The most fun thing I worked on for co-op was the dive elevator.
The dive elevator just adds a lot to co-op in general. I realized that it would be really cool to be able to both go with friends on it, but also to be able to attach stuff to it. So as we started developing the prototype, we realized that that would make it even more meaningful, be able to load it up and then shoot it down to depths and then come back up with all the stuff you collected down there.
I mean, come on. There's little glimpses there of other creatures, other biomes and stuff. And just the longer I look at this, even as just still images, I get more and more excited. I'm sorry if I keep bringing attention to the character designs, but I have to admit something. I am in absolute love with the suit design. I think the suit looks incredible. As a matter of fact, I liked it so much that, something's in the works. And I think you're gonna like it. Now, why do I care so much about this anyway? What do I have to gain from defending Subnautica 2? Well, I would like to say, I want you to look at this and tell me that there's not effort put into this.
I'm Corey Strader.
To anyone who really didn't like the Sea Truck, I present to you the Sea Honda Accord, which may or may not transform into a mech later.
We had this idea of modularity very early on, that the Tadpole could sort of evolve into other forms.
Its modularity is going to be a really cool feature.
What's really exciting about that is it opens up the box for us to do a whole lot more of explorations and perhaps larger upgrades.
We've shown the wings, and that's like one of several chassis that we're working on.
The chassis and the modularity will help it so that the player doesn't have to go into one vehicle and switch to another one for specific use cases in the world, and they can immediately detach the chassis and detach another one, not really have to leave the cockpit of the Tadpole.
I am telling you there's going to be a mech upgrade. There is no way there won't be.
Fans from the old Subnautica will like that the base Tadpole feels very familiar to the Seamoth.
Players will be most excited to not only have the experience of the Seamoth, but also to bring their friends along for the ride. And I think this is going to create a lot of new gameplay and a lot of new moments.
The core thing that we want to deliver is the fantasy of all the other vehicles that players can think of that thing could become over time.
I think with the chassis system, I'm really excited what the community may come up with as other chassis that can plug into the Tadpole.
Just like in nature, a tadpole doesn't just stay a tadpole. A tadpole often grows and turns into other things.
Frog suit, baby! Oh my god, you are still not convinced. How about a Kraken?
Once the game is running, the creature will follow this blueprint to decide what to do. And there it goes. The Leviathan is now chasing the flare instead of me. Pretty cool. Our main goal with creatures was to make them feel reactive. We have improved the hero trees to use dual utility reasoning. So the creature is constantly reevaluating the situation in real time. Of course, it is difficult to process all this information. We have developed powerful debugging tools so designers can actually see what's happening. Can't wait for you to discover all the cool behaviors we have created.
I don't know what else to say to convince you that Subnautica 2 has some passionate developers. Needless to say, I think we're all very excited for Subnautica 2 to release in early access. And that time is soon. Very soon. There's a lot more that I want to say, but I think it would be best if we just wait. I have some very special things planned for Subnautica 2. And I'm very excited to play it. Not just because I love Subnautica. Believe me, I do. But I feel like I'm a little obligated to play it. What do I mean by that? You'll see. Bop, bop, bop. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, be sure to leave a sub. I'm trying to grow my community a bit. And I will see you on Planet Zazura. Bye!